Our next speaker is going to be Lorraine Aloysius, and I would request Lorraine to come up stage and set up because she's going to do a small performance along with the speech. And meanwhile, a housekeeping announcement. Since this is going to be our last event where we're not going to kind of have donor invites to as a fundraiser, please feel free, all the Rex Karmavir Global Fellows and the Karmavir Chakra awardees, please feel free to invite your family and friends for the evening or whatever time they want to join us. I mean today, yeah. Next year, as I had announced earlier, we come to the final sessions now, and we would be going to Goa. Thanks to Aubrey and some friends in Goa, we have a mandate from the Goa government that they would host us at the Kala Academy over there. And we would be kind of changing our dates shifting our dates from November to January, because November is a very challenging month. Too many shadis, too many exams, very difficult to get even volunteers working with us because we are a small team. We don't believe in creating too much overhead, and hence we are tightly kind of driven and very tight team. But the whole idea of going to Goa is because we kind of plan to scale this up, and this year the whole idea was to experiment how the scale up would work up. And we've seen some good speeches in there. We've seen some good formats coming out, like the quiz program, Professor Ailu's songs, yeah. We've had people come and do poetries. We've had several people do several things. We've had the open mic where people have spoken. So this is all going to go into the format for next year. We're going to do it in Goa at Kala Academy in January, hopefully around Martyrs' Day. Yeah, but those dates would probably be kind of more formed up when we come to January 2013. But that's the plan going forward. Somebody asked me, "Oh, Goa na padega ab, to ticket milega." Hum ticket kisi ko nahi dete hain. People have not just come from Punjab or South India, people have come from France and the US to collect their awards. So I think the credibility of the award speaks for itself. We don't have that kind of money because, like I said, we refuse to accept blood money, and that is cast in stone. So we're not here to fund people to come for the thing. This has to happen because of pure independent will, and we want people who come because they respect and they have some kind of integrity about this program. We're not really kind of worried about filling trucks and bringing in people, because knowledge, like I said, we are happy with the few because change happens with the few. We've announced the Rex Global Fellows this year, so I have some good news which has come in, and I'll announce the good news. But before that, let me tell you one of the stories. Sorry, Fiona, you'll have to give me some 5 minutes, yeah? One of the stories which I use a lot in the leadership training programs that I do in companies is I tell a little story about how a girl wrote a nice letter full of a lot of feelings and emotions, everything that she felt for this boy she wrote, and she sent the boy the letter. And the boy opens it, he reads the letter, reads all those emotions, reads all those feelings, and there's a word over there called children, which is spelled wrongly. Right? What does the human hardwiring do? He forgets all the emotions, he forgets all the feelings, and he points out that one error. What do you think that does to the girl? Breaks her heart. There is a crack over there, right? Cracks happen because all those feelings, all those emotions, but that's how humans are hardwired. Humans are not hardwired to look at the positive. Humans are hardwired to look at the negative, unfortunately. It's human hardwiring. There's nothing one can do about it. But the reason I told you this little story is because let us start by accepting our error. And like I said, it's difficult to find volunteers. We've had a small error in the plates which were put on the plaques which were put on the trophies. Karmavir was spelt with a single E. It's an inexcusable error even for me. But what to do? Like I said, we are tightly run, and we will try to kind of amend that error and make those plaques again and send it to everybody by courier. All you need to do is get the old plaques off, take some Fevicol and stick it. So please do that. Thank you so much. And I guess people will understand why I told that story. The good news is that we have amongst us Dr. Chandra, who, like I told you earlier, is the father of nutritional immunology, and he reached out to us, and we're proud to have him as one of our Rex Karmavir Global Fellows, a man who's probably worked with several scientists from the international community, is well known for his work, has worked with several dignitaries across the world. And when he asked us, what is it, how do you kind of get support? We said we find it very difficult to get support because we mostly refuse to take support from corporates who we don't agree with. And he said, okay, and he offered to support us. It came very voluntarily, and he's decided to start by giving us a solidarity fund, if I may call it, a donation of ₹1,00,000 to support the Rex Karmavir Global Fellows to go further. So thank you, Dr. Ramesh Chandra, for that. Thank you so much. And over to Fiona.
Hi, everyone. It's my privilege to be here and share with you my thoughts. I believe I'm an ambassador from the music planet, music education planet. I do advocate music education for all, for the rich and the poor, for the young and the old, the working and non-working, talented and not those who don't believe they're so talented, everyone. And in case you fall asleep during my little speech, I have an idea. Aubrey, are you here? Yeah, Aubrey, standing with me. We're just going to get the mic across to you, and you can sing a folk song. How's that? Okay? Okay, so get ready. So I recently had a conversation with a 9-year-old student called Arnav from my academy who asked me a question. He said, ma'am, we learn so much about inventions from science, about science and the telephone and electricity and everything else. Who invented music? And when was it invented? What was the date on which music was invented? Interesting question, I thought. Nobody had asked me that before. And I thought, and I said, well, music existed from right even before we were born. I said, God invented music. And then I went on to tell him that, music is higher revelation than even science and philosophy. And who said that? None other than Ludwig van Beethoven. Somebody else said, I think that composers do not really invent music. They find music that is already there in the world. So music, and so long as the human spirit thrives on this planet, music will accompany and sustain it and give it expressive meaning. Do you agree with that? Yes, music is really important. If we go back to Greek mythology, even ancient Greek mythology, Indian mythology, Roman mythology, whatever it is, they ascribe to music a very divine origin. And in fact, many inventors and practitioners, composers of music, were given the status of gods and goddesses, like Apollo, Amphion, and Orpheus. And even in this dim, prehistoric world, music had magical powers. Powers to heal, powers to, have changes in nature, work miracles in nature, power to purify the body and mind, different things. And similar powers were attributed in the Old Testament. If you look at the stories in the Old Testament, they walked around the wall of Jericho, they sang, and the walls came down. And when David played the harp, Saul was cured of madness. I think that was amazing. Today, I feel music doesn't have the same meaning. The Greeks and the ancient people had a much wider meaning. It had a much bigger dimension. Music, as it was known, had a much bigger dimension, and therefore people gave a lot of importance to it. Today, when people come to me and they say, we want to learn music, and I ask them, why do you want to learn music? Many of them give me very good reasons, but some of them say, it is so beautiful and stylish to see my daughter playing the piano. It's really nice. That's one reason. Great reason, but let me tell you more. Some say, it's nice to sing at a party. It's great. It gives me a great kick. Someone says, my daughter has a good voice, and therefore I feel she needs to learn music. Someone else says, I don't think my daughter is good at studying, so this is probably a good alternative career. So these are the reasons that people think they should learn music. I think fair reasons, but if we look back and look at what some of the great scientists and mathematicians said about music, you look at, say, Pythagoras. We all hear of Pythagoras as a great mathematician. He said, music and arithmetic are one. There is no distinction. The laws of the universe have to be governed by the laws of numbers and mathematics and arithmetic. And so also music, the sounds and the rhythms. Are you with me, everybody? Yes? Great. So music is not just playing few strums on the guitar and getting away with it. If we learn it well, if we learn it the right way, it is very intellectual and it helps us a lot. So music is arithmetic. Music has a lot of connection with astronomy as well. Most of our great scientists were musicians, not professional musicians, and we don't advocate teaching people to become professional musicians all the time, but they were amateur musicians. Talk about Galileo, talk about Ptolemy, all of them had a great connection with music. Music and poetry, music is poetry. In fact, the two were synonymous. If you hear of these terms, ode, hymn, all of them musical, all of them are poetic terms. So music has everything to do with maths and science and poetry. And Aristotle said that music is directly, an artist is obliged to exercise the power of music with due regard for its effect on others. And I believe as an artist and as an educationist, I want to exercise this, I want to tell people about the power of music to influence society and influence the lives of individuals. Which brings me to the next, the doctrine of ethos. The doctrine, the fact that music has moral qualities and the effects of music can be positive and negative. If you've heard of the doctrine of imitation by Aristotle, he says music directly imitates the passions of the soul. If you listen to the wrong kind of music, you become the wrong kind of person. And if you listen to the right kind of music, you become the right kind of person. In fact, very few of us know that they used to have laws to govern what music could be heard and could not be heard in schools. Because music directly had the power to transform your nature as an individual. So music has that power, and we cannot think it is less than that. So music by Aristotle had the power to influence the way people behave. So it had a fundamental place in the education system of the Greeks. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that it has a fundamental place in our education system today. Today, in many government schools, music is not even regarded as a subject. I visited many schools. Music is not taught at all. In fact, we are starting many programs for government school children. Even in mainstream private schools, music has to be taught the right way, given the right kind of attention. Let me just go through what Albert Einstein said about music. He said, "I often think in music. I live my daydreams in music. I see my life in terms of music." What did Jeff Ruskin say, who was the father of the Macintosh computers? He said, "If I had not studied music, there would be no Macintosh computers today." Bill Clinton said, "I don't think I would have become president if it were not for my school music program." Alan Greenspan, former Federal Reserve chairman, "Art and music help children develop abstract thinking, and that helps them in the business world." Martin Luther said, "We must teach music in schools. A schoolmaster ought to have skill in music, or I would not regard him." How I hope, through Lorraine Music Academy, how we hope, Aubrey and I, through the Lorraine Music Academy and the LAMP Foundation, to promote music is that we love our country very much, and we want to work very hard to make it a better place. And our dream is to impact the country in the field of education, music education, which will affect general education. We want to play our part in teaching the rich and the poor to appreciate, learn, and share music. We believe that we want to bring Indian music and dance and culture to the world and bring the rest of the world to India. We desire to make music a tradable and profitable opportunity for Indian talent. We want to start an Indian musical orchestra here. Now, I'd like Aubrey to come and share about LAMP and how we feel LAMP can help us.
Thank you. The Lorraine Music Academy and LAMP Foundation, these two institutions work together. While the Lorraine Music Academy, as the name suggests, focus on music, and when we talk about music, we talk about world music, and a component of world music includes our own very Indian music from across the land. We believe that the means to integrate a nation of ours, as wide and as vast and as varied in terms of culture it is through the music. And it's so great to see our friend from, well, I do not know where he is from, whether he's from Andhra or from Maharashtra or from Chhattisgarh, but he's an Indian, okay? Sorry, Rayadu, right? He's an Indian, and that's what I like about the way, the passion with which he shares the various languages. So that's one thing, as we share music and culture from different parts of the land, we unite our country. But we also share music and art from various parts of the globe and teach it to our next generation, to prepare the next generation of global leaders to face what the world speaks about India to be. And they talk about, I believe, the great India to be in about 30 years, which will be among the top 3 nations, leading the rest of the nations. And that's what is our responsibility towards the next generation. So through LAMP, we have an objective to raise, first of all, in the National Capital Region, in Gurgaon, something called a natural resource. It will be called the LAMP World Cultural Center. We need 5 acres of land. We need to build on that a world-class facility where we can get the world's best of educationists to come in. We also need, well, I'm unashamedly saying this, we have spent a lot of time investing our own resources. It's time to raise funds, and we have a plan to grow. All I would just leave with you is a thought. How would you like to help us build this dream? Come and contact us, and we'd be happy to share our dream, and we'd be happy to hear you share your willingness to help us achieve that dream. Thank you.
I want to end by inviting here a very live, we have a live example of a couple who has helped 5 children who are underprivileged to include music as a key part of their education. And I want to introduce these 5 children. There's Priyanka, Jyotika, Bhumika, Lakshmi, and Dalima, right? And could I invite Mr. Samuel on stage, Mr. Winston Samuel? Yes. And his wife Sheila is sitting at the table. All these lovely children have been learning music for the past many years, and I've been privileged to meet them for over the last couple of weeks, and they've now joined our academy. And most of them can play an instrument. And I want to ask Mr. Samuel a question. I think when I was speaking to you, you said you wanted to do some meaningful intervention in their life, and you wanted to transform their life, and you wondered how you could do it through general education, and also you chose music over other things because you felt it would help them. Could I ask you to elaborate?
We chose, good evening to every one of you, good afternoon rather, and we chose music over all other form of arts because one is that Sheila herself is a musician, my wife, she plays the organ in the church. But besides that, we found that it is one area where the children can discipline themselves because it requires rigorous practice in order to master instruments. We didn't want them to be just appreciators of good music, just not be listeners of good music or just get involved in dance, but we wanted them to play individual instruments, and which is what they are doing now. And it has given them the benefit of rising above themselves. They're able to perform before others, and that gives them great joy and confidence. They have a lot of fears, a lot of anxieties before they come up like this and sing. But they are learning to conquer it, and I wish and I know that they'll have your encouragement as you do so.
Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Samuel. Can we give them a warm hand?
So they're going to sing you a song. called Showers of Blessing.
Before that, I just want to say this. We talk about CSR, corporate social responsibility. Here's an example of CSR, community social responsibility. You'll wait on to, for this evening to know more about what that means, all right?
We shall sing Showers of Blessing. Can you do that? I haven't trained them. This is just what they've done on their own.
There shall be showers of blessing. This is the promise of love. There shall be seasons refreshing, sent from the Savior above. Showers of blessings, showers of blessings we need. Mercy drops round us are falling, but for the showers we plead. There shall be showers of blessing. Send them upon us, O Lord. Grant to us now a refreshing. Come and now honor your word. Showers of blessings, showers of blessings we need. Mercy drops round us are falling, but for the showers we plead.
Thank you very much. Okay, do the next song as well, please. Do the next song, the prayer, please.
Pray you'll be alright and watch us where we go and help us to be
We'll start again.
Yeah, I told them only one song, but that hymn was so beautiful that I couldn't really stop them from doing the other songs. So.
I pray you'll be alright and watch us where we go and help us to be wise in times when we don't know. Let this be our prayer when we lose our way. Lead us through the place, guide us with your grace to a place where we'll be safe.
La luce che dura
I pray we'll find your light
nel cuore resterà
and hold it in our hearts.
a ricordarci che
When stars go out each night,
l'eterna stella sei nella mia preghiera.
let this be your shadows fell on them.
Lead us to a place.
Guide us with your grace.
Give us faith
so we'll be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Fiona. And that was Mr. Samuel, who's going to be one of our...
Oh, there's one question.
One question. Yes, Neeraj. Were you sleeping? Okay.
We already have an academy existing. Okay. Broad-based.
Yeah, it's going to be a national resource. It's going to be headquartered. It'll be positioned in the National Capital Region in Gurgaon. And we would have satellite centers across every state capital. If you know the funnel, the hub and spoke, to identify talent from across each state, right into the rural hinterlands of the country, and bring the talent forward to the state capital and then to the national capital center. So that's a national resource. Just to indicate to you, we've just launched a nationwide talent contest in August, and this evening, 8 awards are being given away in 4 different categories. That's the beginning. And we're going to do this as we go by, year after year. And the talent that's drawn across the country would benefit through this national resource, which is a Lab World Cultural Center to be based in Gurgaon.
But let me add, the work that we're doing is not going to stop. We continue doing our work despite the center not being up. The center will be up, and that's different, but we continue doing our work among the privileged and underprivileged sections of society to promote music education.
That is the big dream, but in the interim, they have not given chasing the dream. That's
We
how
can
it
teach
works.
music anywhere.
Yeah,
be
if
it
you
a
just
slum
wait
or
to
a
do the
school.
big dream, you'll never start chasing your dreams. So start chasing your dream, you'll reach your big dream someday. Yeah, that's the whole idea. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, we move on. Thank you so much, Fiona and Aubrey. Fiona, I have a certificate for you. So let me get a photograph. Confused whether to call her Lorraine or Fiona. So certificate says Lorraine Aloysius. Thank you so much for coming and making that beautiful presentation.